So I guess at the end of the day, the guys who have quota, they should think about what the odds are that we're going to go to a referendum under Chapter 3.5. Personally, I think they're very good. So when you're thinking about what you're marking on your papers, that's what you should think about. And also, I'd like to say that I think that milk sales are going to skyrocket because we're going to take down the billboards. We don't think we need them. So I think we're about done. The one thing nobody's talking about is we don't think that the QIP was implemented under the correct procedures. So we can file a lawsuit, and we have it drawn up against the state that we think it should be terminated immediately. So that, I think, is a bigger risk than 3.5. That's just something else for you guys to think about as you're thinking, if you're thinking, how do we get out of this? If you don't think anything's a risk, then don't do anything, that's fine. And we don't care. But I'm just telling you that's what we're gonna do. So, trying to be honest with you guys.
Thank you, AJ. Again, AJ and Craig have made themselves available for direct conversations in the previous 2 meetings. You can find them at the back of the room, Dino.
Okay, I want to thank you guys for coming. I want to address a couple of things with the room. Number one, make sure that on the back you fill out your 3 favorite or least hated plans, however it works out, and rank them 1, 2, and 3. Okay, it's important to do 1, 2, and 3. The other thing is with the committee meetings that are coming up in the next couple of weeks, if you want to participate in those, we need to be able to contact you, so make sure that you either go to our website and give us your email or you leave it at the door on the way out. Now, regarding the rest of the process, I talked about the timeline earlier today, but I want to talk about another part of this that we need to work on. Right now, today, and our process outlines basically an economic conversation about what to do with quota. But there are other areas that we have to work on. And there's kind of an emotional and a spiritual aspect to this thing in the industry. And in order for us to move forward and to succeed as an industry, it's important for us to get our families back together. So we need to stop fighting. We need to, I appreciate that AJ's taken down the billboards, and I would also appreciate that we would stop fighting on Facebook. I would appreciate if we would stop putting up ads and communicating and calling other dairymen thieves and calling people liars. We have to get past this part, or we can't do anything together. We have to get past this. So I'm going to ask as an industry that we take whatever anger and whatever animus that we have and try to push it aside while we consider this process. Because even if we agree on, the math on this thing, we still have to live with each other afterwards, right? So let's be good to each other. Let's be kind, and let's make this thing happen and get it over with so that we can all go back to having, family dinners and things like that without this being an issue. Because when I'm not in this room, whenever I see another dairyman, regardless of what side of this issue they might be, and I see them as a dairyman, right? And that dairy person is my brother. And the fight that we have is with the vegans, with the environmentalists, with the California legislature. We have bigger fights, and we need to be together. So with that, I appreciate you guys coming. And regarding AJ's discussion about the lawsuits, there's 3 ways that there's 3 things that are potentially could impact quota at this point. There's the 65% referendum, which we all know about. There's the 50% thing, which you learned about today, maybe for the first time, and then there's this lawsuit that they alluded to. There's really only 2 ways that we can solve this. One way would be through one of those 3 means, in which case would take a lot of time, a lot of money. There's 2 lawyers in this room right now who are going to make a crap load of money on any of those things, right? There's a bunch of money in that. There's a bunch of time in that. There's a bunch of fight in that. And there's a bunch of, angry and hateful people that are going to get together, and it's not going to be fun. Or the other way is to continue with this process and honor the opportunity that this process is to the industry in finding something that we can do together that will cost us nothing. It costs us nothing to be together and to do this thing right. So my recommendation is that you guys stay with the process, participate, make it happen, and let's come to a decision. And once we've made that decision, let's just move on. Okay? This is my recommendation to all of you, and thank you for coming.